Hi guys, so welcome back. We are on episode 5, I believe, of this walkthrough guide. A lot to get through, so let's dive straight in. Firstly, I want to start by doing a quick recap because last session, I know there might be some people now with different builds due to the Unicorn's Horn quest giving alternate routes. And also me completely messing up with the mane of the Black Lion, which, like the idiot that I am, I equipped as a head item when it is indeed a cloak item. Hey, mistakes happen, and it's not like I wrote the book or anything. Okay, anyway, so if you avoided my mess up, you should have the Flame Bathed Cowl as your head item, which is 1 speed and 2 brawn with Seer. Which, as I said in the last session, it's no biggie to keep that. I actually think Seer, in the long run, actually will serve this build a lot better. You are down 1 brawn point in comparison to myself, and you don't have Fearless, but I think you have the same a solid chance at all the same combats that I do and the same outcomes. I don't think it's going to affect anything. Cloak wise, I did suggest ignoring the mane of the Black Lion as a cloak item, and at the time keeping the Destroyer's Drape, which we then ditched for the Flame Mantle, which had Fire Aura from Vesuvius, which is 2 speed, 1 armor. The very end of the Sunken City, which is the end of the last episode, I took Kagadur's Cloak. So I just wanted to take a quick moment to explain why. I think the 2 brawn at that time was really important for me, and I was willing to lose Fire Aura for it. But okay, at the start of this session, here's what you're going to do right away. So head back to No Hope, and we're going to be looking at the bonus items that I released for the Tavern Tinker. These are special items that are not in any of the books, or the versions of the book, I should say, but were made available as a sort of website exclusive stroke patch. So they should be in the books, but they haven't yet been added to any edition yet. The link is in the description below under Tavern Tinker. And so basically with this edition, there are 3 new kind of rare items available. And what I'm suggesting you do is you buy the Cobwebbed Cape, which is 2 speed, 2 brawn. It's 240 gold, which I know is expensive, but it gives you the all-important and wonderful webbed ability. Okay, in my playthrough, I buy this cape after the next set of combats, largely because I realised that I have a repeat of an ability, or a repeat of ability is coming up, so I decide, using this, to get that cobwebbed cape. But so I get it a little bit later on. But as I was coming to, I was writing up this guide and getting ready to film this, it just makes perfect sense to tell you to buy it now, because webbed is super amazing. It's going to really help you in these next combats. So you're just basically buying it a little bit earlier, and I would have done if I'd have thought about it. Okay, so your purse will be lighter than mine for a little while, but it all comes back together again. Okay, sorry, that was a long intro. Let's get going. You now have the cobwebbed cape. It's time to get that Berserker career. First off, I am also using one of my root grass and a bramble thorn to make a +6 health potion. In my backpack, I currently have a marsh stick, which I bought for Snapjaw, and never used. I have a +4 brawn potion, a +10 heal, 1 use of Troll's Blood left, and I now have a +6 health. Okay, entry 352. We're back to the arena, and we're going to finish off the arena. So it's time to fight a dervish from the Dune Sea. He has piercing, which is pretty scary considering he's got a brawn of 10. And if his whirlwind triggers, that's a lot of damage, and it's probably going to be game over. But hey, we just got to keep fighting these combats until we win. Shouldn't be tricky for us with our gear and our brawn. Don't use any consumables in these combats. Just save them. Just repeat the combat if you lose until you secure victory. But hey, shouldn't be a problem because in my fight, he didn't win a round. And Deep Wound, I've got a note here, hit him for 16 damage after armor was taken into account. So that was a lovely little damage burst. So yeah, an easy fight. So entry 370, there are a few patched items here, none of which we want, but worth just mentioning. So the Desert Kefir, I believe that's how it's pronounced, now has Rebound, which is a nice combat ability. A Gal of Shifting Sands is now 1 speed, 2 magic with Consume. So that's two. So that they're changes that came in with the patch notes. But yeah, we don't want any of this stuff. We do gain 80 gold, so that's good. I'm up to 511 gold, but remember I'm still using Kagador's Cloak. I haven't bought the webbed one yet. Okay, entry 391. So now we progress to the fight I've been somewhat really nervous about. This is King Louis. It's a giant ape, and he does 15 damage a round, minus armor, and we only have 2 armor. So he's doing a 13 damage a round. So we die in 4 rounds. Therefore, a bit like Snapjaw, we want to take him down as fast and as quickly as possible. It's a DPS race, so we just got to go for it. So good luck, guys. Enjoy, and afterwards, yeah, I'll share my experience. So I'm hope that the dice gods are favourable. Okay, so my experience wasn't actually too bad. I won all of my rounds, although I had to use Trickster to win one of them, and I'm pretty nervous that we're going to be losing that amazing ability pretty soon. Having no piercing at the moment hurts. I had to use my +4 Brawn Potion just to get some extra damage in, and then in the last round of my combat, I used my +6 health pot because the passive damage takes place simultaneously. So I was at a point in the combat where he would have died, but then his passive swinging damage would have hit me and killed me as well. So I just topped up my health to survive that. So anyway, the King of the Swingers ain't the king no more. It's not an easy fight. Probably tougher for Rogue with a smaller health pool, but we should be okay. I mean, you should be okay with it. So good luck with that. Once you have cut him down to size, reward-wise, we are taking the Diamond of the Tundra, which is a necklace. It gives us piercing. Thank the Lord. We lose evade off. I lose the pendant of foresight. But we now have piercing, like I said, and we're going to be keeping piercing permanently in this slot from now on. So I go ahead and I make another +6 potion with Bramblethorn and Rootgrass to fill my empty space. Now, according to my notes, I have 1 Rootgrass left and 3 Bramblethorn. And I'd say here, I hope that's correct because my hero sheet was looking like a hot mess right now. We also gain 100 gold, so that brings me to 611. So this is it. We progress to the final of the arena match. This is the toughest enemy, in my opinion, in Act 2. But if we do this, we get the Berserker career, and then we just win the game, basically. Yeah, no, I'm just teasing, but it's a great career with great abilities. But there's one thing that just stands in her way, and that is Sharakana, who's a tigress from the Terrell jungle. She is a mean, lean fighting machine. She rolls 3 dice for attack speed, which is scary. But remember, we have webbed, or you have webbed, I should say. I didn't have webbed at this point. I had fearless, but you have webbed to reduce her to 2 dice. We have a 2 speed advantage. Trickster is going to be great as well for grabbing one of her dice. We've got Lay of the Land to match her for speed. We have a mottled marsh stick if things just go terrible. So we have everything. We are prepared for this combat. So good luck. And yeah, I'll share my experience when if you're playing along, go for it. Okay, so yeah, I wasn't expecting to survive, but I did it first time on my first attempt. It was close, but I didn't need to use any consumables. I ended up at 7 health. Yeah, so she hit me quite a few times for some big hits. One round, she hit me for a good 16 damage, which was pretty scary. Yeah, it was close. But once again, Trickster really helped get me out of trouble. And I just feel sad that we're about to lose that ability. And we're also about to lose Lay of the Land, which is an amazing speed ability that has helped me in so many combats. But yeah, it wasn't too tough. It's really, we just hit really hard. And I think that's the key thing, is just winning those combat rounds and just manipulating her dice as much as we can. If you failed, it's just keep repeating. Try and out-heal her damage if you can. Piercing and Deep Wound technically take most of her health off. And then we've got Bleed, Thorns and Barbs doing 3 damage around as passives. So really just 3 good rounds of winning will just knock off most of her health, and then it's just our passive should, do the rest of the work. So I'd say it's, persevere if you had some really bad luck, because it's very doable. So reward-wise, 162, we of course take the Tiger's Fury Talisman. It gives us, so yeah, there's no stat change, but we learn the Berserker career. And guys, just check out those disgustingly dirty abilities. I mean, when we drop below 20 health, we get a +2 speed bonus, which is just insane. It's pretty much like the Blood Frenzy kind of abilities from Raiders of Dune Sea, but almost on steroids. And then we also get the amazing Raining Blows, which is a modifier, I think, in this, and it should actually be a passive. But anyway, whenever we roll a 6 for our damage score, we get to roll another dice. You'll be, well, I was amazed how many times I managed to trigger it. And then just think it can just, if you roll another 6, it chains into another dice. You can actually get some crazy strings of damage going. We're going to be getting Dominate very soon, which allows us to turn a dice into a 6, which will then trigger this again for us. And also remember, if you have that flame-bathed cowl, because you weren't stupid like me and equipped the mane of the Black Lion, you will have Seer. And remember that that's +1 to each one of those dice. Amazing. Okay, and the rewards don't end there. We get 150 gold. That brings me to 761. And then we do get, we get a chest reward option for warriors. It's not too shabby, but it's armor. We don't need it. We have 2 axes. We have barbs, bleed, and thorns, and a mean attitude. Guys, we don't need armor. So yeah, the end boss will now be a joke to us, basically. For very quick info, there's no point us doing the Hydra legendary monster because we don't need the shield. It's a really fantastic item, but for our build, Deep Wound works so much better in our left hand, so we don't want the shield. Also, Magmageddon, which is the Uber boss that we unlocked in the Seared Scar. We don't need his Firewalker's helm because Flame Bathed Mantle is better because it has brawn, and yes, I have the mane of the Black Lion because I'm an idiot, and that was better too. We skipped Logan because he is more of a rogue kind of target. He's basically there to get the assassin career. His gear is very low tier for us now, so we ignore him. Okay, before the boss encounter, which ends Act 2, if you have any unused herbs, then craft those potions. At this point, I go back to No Hope and realise that I really want that cobwebbed cape. You should already have it, but I thought, right, okay, I need to get this. The reason is that I know I'm going to be buying some boots at the start of Act 3 that has savagery, and I didn't want a repeat of an ability, so cobwebbed cape for definite. So my gold went down to 521, which is probably around where yours should be at. So boss encounter at entry 419. Oh yeah, so yeah, 419 is the start of this. We go through quite a lot of, you know, exposition, etc. We end up in a fight against a Shadow Stalker. She has high stats, but we're matched for speed. That gives us a pretty good fighting chance. She has a fair bit of health and the Deadly Venom ability, but we are ready to go full on Berserker mode. So show her who is boss, and yeah, enjoy your new abilities. Okay, as for my fight, it was easy peasy, but she did get me down to 27 health. But sadly, yeah, I didn't have a problem just whacking down, you know, her health. I did note here, sadly, neither of my Berserker abilities came into play at all. I didn't roll any sixes for damage, and I didn't get below 20 health. So, sad face. But now, we absorb her Shadow Essence, and we raise our health to 55. Happy face. And we go to 729, which is reward time. So this is an easy choice for us. We take Velocifero, which is a main hand weapon. This item's actually named after a Ladytron song, stroke album, if you're vaguely interested in that kind of naff info. So we lose Cleave, which I'm not fussed about. Riposte is kind of okay. But we're going to be replacing this weapon incredibly soon. But it's just take it because we just want that extra point of speed. So my stats at the end of Act 2, speed 13, brawn 16, yours maybe 15 because you didn't take the mane of the Black Lion, armor 2. I have 521 gold ready to spend, and we're going to be doing that at the start of Act 3. So, follow on with the story, which takes us into the Bone Fields, meet our new companions, Caleb, Nims, and Lansbury. And then, once we've gone through that, we end up on the Act 3 map and at the outpost. So, what I suggest you do is you immediately visit Waldo and his Wandering Wares. And Waldo can be found at 783. I think that's right. Let me just check so I'm not giving you false information. Yeah, that's fine, yeah. I mean, you can obviously go through the options of Lansbury, examining the strange runes, for Nims to give his opinion. Basically, you'll just discover that he's a strange otherworldly traveller who likes to collect things, and we are certainly interested in those things. So at 8:15, he has his very expensive special deals, but we are going to be heading over to 8:03, I believe it is. Unless I've got that the wrong way around. I have got that the wrong way around. We're going to his special deals at 8:15. So these are his cheaper options for 450 gold crowns. We are most definitely buying the Barbarous boots for 450 gold. They are pretty much the best in-slot item for warrior, for boots. It gives us another point of speed and brawn. It's an easy decision. I don't care how much it costs. We're just getting it. I'm down to 71 gold, but my stats have shot up. I'm at 14 speed, 17 brawn, which is a great place to be at the start of this act. Also, before we proceed, make a note of Lansbury's potions and what's on offer at the infirmary. It's just 697. These are pretty expensive, and we probably won't be making much use of them, but the Elixir of Swiftness is worth being aware of. It might be good for some boss battles if you need that extra bit of oomph. Okay, so with all that done, we head into the green quest, which is 575. So the path I took, I chose to, once you've progressed into the bone fields, help Nims and Caleb to battle the bone construct. To be fair, it doesn't really matter which choice you end up going for because we don't need the loot from either encounter. So yeah, help Nims and Caleb against the bone construct. We fight the bone construct. Note here, I almost died. I was at 9 health, but thankfully seeing red triggered, gave me that +2 speed, basically saved my life. But it was a little bit of a reminder to me that Act 3 enemies hit really hard when they win around now. So yeah. So following that, we head into the tomb. We're giving our next set of choices. So we are going to help Caleb and Jana against the flesh golem. Basically because we want the spinal tap spear. This is a pretty straightforward fight. I'll just put a note here. Yeah, I managed to pull off a 30 damage strike in this combat thanks to deep wound and raining blows. So after armor deducted, I did a nice 18 damage to him. Nice. Anyway, it's a pretty straightforward fight and shouldn't have any problems. From the rewards, we take the spear, spinal tap. It's 3 speed, 4 brawn. So our brawn increases by 1. And we also get Impale, which if you previously had Dark Malice in Act 2, you will have probably used that ability a lot. It increases our damage score by 3 and lowers the opponent's speed by 1 in the next round. So it's really actually a super awesome ability to have. Okay, for the next encounter, I chose to go against the Tor Knight. We don't really need anything from him, but I chose this one anyway. It's an annoying fight, as he is immune to most of lovely goodies. So really, yeah, we have to do it the hard way, and we have to just, waste rounds, basically reducing his armor. Okay, so good luck with this one. Yeah, so for me, it was a pretty tough fight. I ended it on 5 health. I spent the early rounds reducing his armor down to 8, just to try and get some really big hits in. I think I was really unlucky. I lost quite a few rounds, took some really heavy hits. Thankfully, bleed still works against this opponent, which helped a little bit. So yeah, this might be quite a tricky one, but yeah, so this guy drops some nice warrior loot, but we don't want any of it, sadly. I was tempted by the gauntlets, but they don't have speed, and we probably wouldn't be making use of the set bonus anyway. Other items we don't need. So yeah, that's that really. So yeah, proceed with the narrative. We pretty much come to the end of that quest. My stats were 14 speed, 18 brawn, 2 armor, 55 health. We're still super squishy. I mean, I felt it in that quest. 2 combats where I was pretty close But, you know, we don't actually mind being in that little kind of red zone, because that's when our sort of kind of battle rage triggers and we get that +2 speed boost, and that really helps us to just stabilize and finish off a combat. Okay, so moving on, the next quest is one of my favorites. It's a great one for loot. It's called the Waking the Dead. So the story goal here is to find Arthurian's horn so we can summon him to aid us in battle. Our personal goals, though, are to get the Justice Hammer, the Eversharp Blade, and of course the horn, which is a backpack item and basically allows you to do 20 instant damage to anything. Okay, so there are a lot of paths and options in this quest, so we need to pick our path carefully in order to disgustingly min-max our heroes. Okay, so from the start, we're going to avoid a frontal assault. Yes, it would have been nice to fight the Bone Angel, because I probably would have really quite liked that skull plate chest item, and it gives us dominate. But anyway, we are going to ignore that. We are going to look for a sneaky back entrance. Ignore the distraction, because that gets us into a fight we don't need to have. Great for mages, not great for us. Entry 883, continue onwards. We enter a set of catacombs, immediately investigate the magic anomaly. This puts us into a fight where we need to win 4 rounds to reduce its magic to 0. Super easy encounter, no problem. Defeat the anomaly, and then a secret chamber is revealed. So investigate the room and then inspect the second magic anomaly. We are then time shifted. If I could do an effect now, I would, but hey, I can't. Budget won't allow. So we have gone back in time, and we now discover that the skeletal remains of the adventurer that was previously here is now very much flesh and bone. Now, if we wanted a nice dagger and some gold, we could fight him. But we aren't nasty rogues, and we're going to try and be the good guys. So convince him that you mean no harm, and then avoid absorbing his shadow essence. This brings us to entry 920, where we get to learn about the interesting truth of who exactly this tomb robber really is. So yeah, we learn his true identity, which is a kind of cool little story twist. Then we agree to aid him in freeing his soul from being trapped within this alien body. So we continue on. We end up in a fight with the architect of the tomb, who believes we are robbers. How dare he? Well, okay, actually, we are kind of robbing the tomb, so yeah. Anyway, entry 804. So, yes, there's a lot going on in this fight. But notice that no enemies, not even the kind of runic seals, you know, the Holy Flame, Holy Circle, Holy Shield, nothing's actually immune to any passives, which probably was an oversight on my part, because I don't think they should really be taking bleed damage. But anyway, let's make the most of it. So it's a pretty easy fight. I'll talk through my tactics. So turn 1, I used piercing straight away on the main guy, the architect. Slammed him for damage, just to get my bleed going as well as the other passive. So he's taking 3 damage a round. Then I immediately switched focus onto his Holy Circle to get the healing out of the picture. And with our damage, we should be pretty much able to one-shot that. Then move on to the Holy Shield, smash that, destroy that. Once his armor is lowered to 8, which happens when you destroy the Holy Shield, easy fight, easy fight. And as written, you know, we just need to defeat the Ghostly Guardian, which is the architect. So we don't really need to worry about that last seal, which I think increases his damage. Yeah, as for the Holy Flame, you can just ignore it. So pretty easy fight. Okay, so continue onwards. We then finally come to the vault, which Arthurian unlocks. I won't spoil what happens next, but if you read on, you know, a big event takes place. And then we find ourselves cornered by a rather angry and confused Shadow Stalker. So it's time to fight. Okay, he matches us for speed. He has decent health, very low armor. Pushover. A pushover at this point. I didn't have any problem. He goes down pretty quick to deep wound, piercing, impale. You know, we're just kind of commanding the combats right now. So yeah, at long last, it's rewards time. So we don't need a Serper. That is a kind of hero versus hero ability when I was trying to encourage people to do PvP. However, we most definitely want Justice, which is a Warhammer. We're losing... Okay, so we're losing Deep Wound. Calm, guys. Calm. Calm. It's temporary. Don't worry. We basically replacing it for now with Knockdown, which is a great speed ability. It adds 1 to our hero, so we're up to 14 speed, and we will be getting Deep Wound back incredibly soon. We also grab 150 gold, which is crazy. It brings me to 671 gold. Okay, so narrative-wise, we end up retracing our steps back to the anomaly. Let it teleport us back to the present day. Yeah, so proceed. We advance back into the catacombs. We come across an angry Tor Knight called Jorvik, who has been resurrected by the necromancers. Is none too happy about it. And he takes out his anger on us. So 878. It looks like a super scary battle. Because, yeah, there's a lot going on with him kind of growing in power throughout the combat as different pieces of kind of armor slap onto him. But, yeah, we have a +2 speed advantage. We have a damage boost from Nims. And if you have Seer from your headgear, you're getting even more damage for your damage score. And if things get bad, we've got Lansbury's Heal just to stop us completely whiffing this battle. So, yeah, easy. I mean, in my fight, I just unleashed everything. Pretty much from the start, I didn't hold back. But if you want to be actually a little bit more intelligent and tactical, you could hold back on your piercing for a later round to punch through his higher armor. But I felt pretty overpowered in this fight, and I just went for it. My notes say that I only got hit once. I was down to 42 health. And I actually forgot, as usual, about Nim's damage boost. Sorry, Nims. Anyway, rub your hands together for that sweet, sweet loot. This is what we came for. So we get Eversharp. It replaces our Spinal Tap, which we didn't really keep for long. But we want this because it has the same stats and it gives us back Deep Wound. So now, hopefully, you'll see how our build is coming together towards perfection. So, okay, as we press on further, we do have the word vault. So we turn to 822. And of course, due to our actions in the past, the vault has been opened and pilfered. So we don't get any goodies. Well, we kind of already looted the place anyway, didn't we? So Lansbury ends up activating a secret lever and we find a new passageway. And we then stumble on a ritual where an ice lock, along with her necromancer cronies, is currently trying to bring the soul of Arthurian back to life. So we wade in to try and save the day. So we're immediately going to fight Semaine. Now, I just decided to go for the special achievement, which means defeating her without lowering her armor. There's actually no need to. The rewards, I do take the ring, but just don't sweat it. If you feel like you don't want to go for the special achievement, I wouldn't worry. It's basically another one of those combats that's a DPS race. Her Wrath of Winter passive grows in power each round. It's unavoidable damage. But I just went. I just thought, you know what, I have to go for the special achievement because people are going to expect me to go for the special achievement. I wasn't expecting to do it. But I just threw myself in, all guns blazing. Well, okay, sword and warhammer blazing. To see if I could do it. And yeah, I did. It's very doable. Actually, it was a pretty nasty fight, though. It was a nasty fight. Okay. So, yeah, I had a really good moment with Deep Wound again and Raining Blows. That did 37 damage, minus 20 for her armor. Only, did 17, which helped. That said, this was close to the wire. It was very tough. I had 3 health left. And had I drawn or lost, yeah, I would have been dead because her passive damage was up to minus 9 a round. I did use my plus 6 health potion. And yeah, I note here, I would not have won if it hadn't been for seeing red again, triggering that plus 2 speed bonus is amazing. I managed the achievement by the skin of my teeth. Yeah, so, but like I said, you don't have to go for the special achievement. Just fighting her normally, you can just lower her armor and it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so the reward is good, but not essential. So if you die, you're not missing out on much. So the reward is a plus 2... the reward is a ring with plus 2 brawn. If you don't do the special achievement, it's just a 1 brawn ring. It has leech, which heals us each time we damage an opponent. I chose to swap out thorns at this stage. I do love thorns. And it drops us now to 2 passive damage around, but I decided to do it just to get the brawn boost from the ring. I'm not sure if that's a great choice. You might completely disagree. You're welcome to take that ring or not. But we are going to be replacing it incredibly soon anyway to bolster up our build. So anyway, after this quest, we are speed 14, brawn 20, armor 2. And for choosing this route, we also get Arthurian's Horn, which is a backpack item. And yeah, it's a one-shot use. It deals 20 straight damage to an opponent, ignoring armor. So yeah, it's going to be super useful. I actually ended up not using it until the very end boss, but you could easily use it against one of the legendary monsters that we're going to be facing if you just need to just, do a massive damage burst. Okay, so quest done and back to the map. Now we're going to do Winter's Hill. This is entry 589. There's a ring that we want, which is super tasty, and we do gain a ridiculous amount of gold by doing this. And it's also a requirement in order to access the Against All Odds quest. So we kind of have to do it. So follow the narrative. Help Lansbury to investigate the angelic statues. Obviously, this gets the attention of the undead. And suddenly, you and Lansbury are surrounded. And it's basically a defend the hill scenario. So, once you caught up with me, at entry 704... we get to place 3 rods in different locations to help us in this combat. I would suggest using the Rod of Enfeeblement. Oh, sorry. We have a Rod of Enfeeblement, which reduces Brawn and Magic by 2. We have the Rod of Slowing, which reduces Speed by 1. And the Rod of Rending, which reduces Armor by 4. So the final boss comes from the east and has a speed of 14. So I would put the Rod of Slowing on the east side. Place the Rending Rod to the north, which will help with the tough bone giants that are coming in, and also makes the armor of the Packmasters and Ghouls pretty obsolete. Then put the Enfeeblement or Enfeebling Rod to the west, which will reduce the magic of the Necromancers and Skeletons that come from that direction. Because if we lose a round to them, we take damage from both. There's no super obvious win-win option for that, by the way. They're just my choices. But feel free to experiment and feel free to disagree. Anyway, battle through. You'll find this whole quest really easy. Yeah, so good luck, and then I will share my experiences. But the key thing that we're looking for is the leader of the pack ring for Dominate. That's the only loot we want to swap out that hunger ring, which we just got, for leader of the pack. Okay, so for me, very quickly, my first fight, the Ghoul pack have been nerfed. They're now 8 armor. So we've used the rod of rending. So the ghouls are actually 4 armor and the pack masters are just 6 armor. So we can smash through the ghouls in like 2 rounds. I did that first, thanks to deep wound and piercing. Then I saved all my speed abilities to go against the necromancers, making it a super easy win. We get 50 gold for that, and then we get the leader of the pack ring to replace the hunger ring. We drop a point of brawn, but we get dominate, which is fantastic for triggering our raining blows. Next, we have necromancers and skeletons. This can be an annoying fight, and it was, but it has been nerfed now in the patch notes. The necro's armor is 8 with a health of 50, and the skeletons are down to 8 magic, 10 armor, and 60 health. Remember also that due to the rod we've chosen, we reduce these guys' magic by another 2 in this fight. So tactics-wise, I actually just focus on the necromancers first. Basically blast through them. I killed them in 3 rounds. Then I immediately switched to the skeleton horde, who now had 90 health due to the Raise the Dead ability. But still easy pretty much to smash through their health. It did take a while, but I didn't lose a round. Easy. So another 50 gold for that. Then next encounter is Bone Giants. There's been no nerfs here, but we did use the armor reduction rod, so they are now at a more manageable 10 armor. I shredded through them, didn't take any hits. Happy days. 40 gold, thank you very much. There's no need for any of the rewards here. The Bone Gavel is nice, but we have Eversharp with Deep Wound, and who's ever going to replace that beauty? Well, actually us later, but never mind. Okay, right. So for me, it was the only fight I took damage on was the final one, which is the big fight with Rottergast. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was that tough, really. I mean, he got me down to 25 health. He has high armor, which you've just got to kind of chip away at. I actually ignored the beetles for the entire fight and just focused on him to get him down as quickly as possible. I just tanked their damage, basically, with my health pool. And also remember the rod that we've used reduces his speed to 13, which gives us... Does that give us a +1 speed advantage? I can't remember. I think it does. Yeah, it does. Okay, so we get 50 gold for defeating him. We don't need any of the rewards, but let's just take a moment to look at that dagger and just think, wow, I would kind of really wish I was a rogue. 5 brawn and deep wound. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so from that entire quest, we gained a total of 190 gold. So I was now back up to a pretty respectable 861 gold. My stats are 14 speed, 19 brawn, and 2 armor. So we are looking super hot. I think we've got a handle on our amazing Berserker abilities. So I think at the start of the next session, we are going to be taking on, for sure, a Frosty Legendary monster. And then we're going to be going into the blue quest against all odds. And to get another ring upgrade, which will push our speed to ridiculous broken levels. So anyway, I had to kind of go through that breakneck speed because I'm conscious that this is already a long video. I'm sure I've only got like 2 people left who are actually watching this. That's fine. Anyway, I hope somebody out there finds this useful, is enjoying playing along, and yeah, seeing the warrior build come together, grow in power. And as you'll probably experience through these last few quests, we are really smashing through opponents left, right, and centre, which is exactly what we want to be doing. So anyway, I hope you're enjoying this. Please subscribe, give this a like, just to remind me that there's people still watching these. And yeah, hopefully see you in the next one. Have fun, happy adventuring. Cheers.